way that kind of content and culture is created has changed so much, through, I guess, this whole kind of era of social media. That I've heard a lot of kind of chat recently about whether that era is over, but we've lived this era of UGC and the changing notion of kind of where stories and culture sort of stop and start, which I think has been really fascinating, and probably for better or for worse has really changed the culture and society kind of wholesale. But I think we've really embraced that sense that you can connect with kind of cultural initiators, let's call them, at all sorts of levels, that actually this kind of older model whereby you talk to some kind of rarefied people in some sort of niche kind of cutting edge communities in metropolises is perhaps not really like the way that things are being constructed and consumed now. That actually, if you want to understand, whether it's something to do with food or whether it's something to do with fashion, that actually there are those trends and those ideologies are shifting at all sorts of levels, and you can kind of interface with them at all sorts of levels too.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there was an era of sort of like sanitized sort of like, do you remember we used to talk about prosumers? That was a real term, like kind of going to look for the people that, as you say, kind of more urban, living certain types of lives. And I think that now I see success more, particularly in sort of deep audience pieces of thinking more like a journalist, like going to uncover the story, maybe the untold stories within countries, within communities, within a particular category, and finding ways to bring those stories to brands, because ultimately they need ways to differentiate, and a lot of brands in the same space are probably consuming a lot of the same insight and same content. So I think there's a need to do something different to help them get a competitive edge.